Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Vic, Brian, and Lynette. How's it going, everyone, today? We're good?
Good.
We're all good. We're getting nods across the board. All right. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is an audio-based format, so you're going to want to definitely be verbal in your responses. I know you're all new to the show, but...
I think everyone's just lacking an hour of sleep, that's all.
No, that's not mine. I'm here to let you know this is not going to go the way you thought it was going to go. So
that's fair. Well, today we join the Black Guard and help protect the fragile peace between demons and humans as we try to survive in this wicked city. Wicked City, also known as Supernatural Beast City, is a 1987 Japanese adult animated dark fantasy action horror film. It was produced by VideoArt and Madhouse for Japan Home Video. It was released as Wicked City by Streamline Pictures here in the United States in August of 1993. The film is based on Blackguard, the first novel in the Wicked City series by Hideyuki Kikuchi. Wicked City is the solo directorial debut of Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who also served as the character designer, storyboard artist, animation director, key animator. So Homeboy was very dedicated to the project.
Okay.
All the things.
Go ahead.
He's responsible for all the art that we see in here.
Like, for real. The story takes place toward the end of the 20th century, where a peace treaty between the human world and the demon world is up for renewal. And Taki, who's a salaryman by day, is also a member of the Black Guard, a secret police force that protects the human world from, like, demonic invaders.
Now,
yeah.
It's important to point out that this goes all the way up to the Pope.
Yeah, this does. This is a known convergence between the worlds, and it goes all the way to the top of Christianity.
Just want to keep that going. All right. They continue because yeah.
So the opening few shots in this establish that this is going to be a great looking movie.
I agree. I fucking agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, considering for the time, God, some of the animation is so fluid.
Yeah,
stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning. Oh my God. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, man, it does something for me when I see skyscrapers, right? And then they do this little nod where they'll put clouds below the top of the skyscrapers.
Yeah.
You know, I've always loved that feel of scale. Like,
definitely.
There have been times when I've been driving throughout the country, right? And as I'm driving, I'm looking down over a ravine, and I'm seeing the top of birds.
Yeah.
You know, and that just lets me know, damn, somebody built this shit so great that I'm looking down, looking at the top of birds. I know I must sound like the greenest.
No.
It makes sense. I mean, there have been times when I'm driving into town, and no joke, I've had a cloud literally, come in front of me. It's
pretty wild.
Right across the road.
Scale like that is something that can be appreciated, and they do a phenomenal job of that. In just the opening scene.
Yeah,
just that alone.
It is a lot of really just great establishing shots. We start with our lead hero character, Taki. He's at a bar. He apparently made a bet with the bartender on whether or not he was going to hook up with this girl. And because he's the female maestro, eye roll gif inserted here. And the only thing...
He lost that bet.
See, right? I mean, like, seriously. So I think he owes the bartender some money. So you find out pretty quick that the girl that they're talking about is in the restroom. And she's getting her makeup back on. She's, getting ready to leave the restroom. And then as they pan away from the shot, you see that she is not who we think she is. That the woman in question has replaced said woman, who is we assume at this point dead on the floor.
Yes.
Well, she mentioned later in the movie that she didn't kill her; she just knocked her out.
But we didn't know that at the time. Like at the time she's in the bathroom doing her makeup, there's a body on the ground, there's a hand in the frame, and you're just like, oh, she done killed this girl. Like that's
and I was trying to hold, but look, I have problems with that part.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why didn't she kill her?
Why? I thought the same thing. I'm like, why didn't you just kill her? Like, you clearly got no bones about doing dirty deeds. So why leave her alive at all? Like, what was you were trying to gain favor with Taki? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It was one of those things. It was like, that seems like a loose end you could have cleaned up pretty easily.
I wonder if it's a translation issue or maybe that was actually in the script. I don't know.
It's a good question. It is. So honestly, it's a smart grift. The demon knocks out this girl that he's been dating for like 3 months and then invites him over for sex.
Takes her face. She becomes her.
She literally, becomes a doppelganger of this girl that he's been dating for months, and he's been, working that relationship, trying to get to that next level. And she invites him over for sex. She then proceeds to fuck the living shit out of him, and then
tries to kill the living shit out of him.
Tries to bite his dick off with her vagina. I mean,
well, all right. Okay.
This is a fucking terrifying creature. I'm just saying.
Right. That right there, I didn't realize that was a fear of mine
until then.
Look, I paused it and I held. I was like, I need to call somebody about this.
This is where every man realizes that he can turn into a turtle.
Hey, it doesn't have to be cold outside.
Oh, look, man, it was
Turtle is real.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Look, I'm sorry, it was.
But my fear goes further than this, right? I was even pissed off that the mouth was sideways.
Well, of course it was, because that's where the
that I always thought that I didn't realize this, but I always assumed if someone going to bite my dick off, the mouth will be.
It was going to be a vertical bite, bite rather than a
right. And I didn't realize that I actually have preferences for castration. Who knew? Who fucking knew?
The funny thing is like
webbing from there.
It wasn't even her job, right? Her job was to, we find out later, her job was to extract a semen sample, but we didn't know it at the time. She didn't need to bite his dick off, but she was going to do it anyway. And it's just cruel. But she tells him she got what she came for, and then she proceeds to spider walk her way out of the scene, which
was insanely fluid as well.
I was just going to comment on that, Vic. Go ahead, B.
Get out. I think that was the scariest scene in the whole thing is when she turned into the spider, and I was like, no. That's for
there's that.
I'll go ahead and say that has made in the James house, spiders is our nemesis. If we see a spider, that motherfucker's getting it.
Usually,
no questions asked, because we are not going to have my.
From now on, you're just going to call every spider Kanoko and squash it with rage. So
it was spider. I didn't even learn her name.
So my note was spider bitch for every single note. The shot of her crawling out of the bed with her shadow being cast on the drapes, and it was fucking art. It was amazing.
And that was scary.
It was so terrifying. Scary. It was so terrifying. It was so good. It was so good. It was very abstract in the sense of you don't really know what the fuck's going on. You, as an adult, you can make an assumption she needed a semen sample, but as a youth watching it, I don't even know that I paid attention to the fact that she said she got what she needed. I was just like, damn, she almost bit his dick off, and this is all I cared about.
Why did the mouth have to be so big though? Why did the maw of death have to go from this little pleasure. It's so pleasurable
man.
in that area.
Factor.
And then it just stretched open to the point where it could have been not just him, his whole torso.
Yeah, I mean, she
wasn't
could
enough
have
leg
like, chomped a whole leg off. It was wild. It was a wild scene. It was a great opening. It's just it sets the stage for this movie.
Opening.
Yeah, it sets the stage for this movie. You were about to see some wild shit, and you're just like, okay.
We haven't even got into Wicked City.
Right.
That didn't hit me until you see Wicked City. I was like, oh shit, this is just the oh my god.
We're just getting started. And at this point, we get a bit of an exposition dump on Taki and how he's a part of the Black Guard, and now he's getting his first assignment, or not first assignment. He's getting his latest assignment because he's an established member of the Guard. He's getting this.
The amount of disrespect that man got in that,
just walking in,
in that short part of exposition.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my gosh, they really don't like him.
Not popular with his coworkers
at all. Taki, if I worked in the same office as Taki, I would have been watching him to make sure he doesn't come in here with with the AK and just start blasting this.
Yeah, he's the one you befriend so that you get a warning. It's like, don't come to work today. You know what, Taki? I hear you. I'm going to stay home.
I hear exactly what
you should be sick today. Be sick today.
Yeah, be sick. Oh man. So you get this exposition dump, and it goes by really fast. I guess this is probably a good time to jump into the main question. I'm assuming Vic, Lynette, you guys watched it subbed. Vic, you watched it, or Brian, you watched it subbed this time. I chose to roll old school, and I watched the old 93 dub. It was just, I had to. That's how I'd first seen it. I really kind of wanted to revisit it that way.
What did I do?
So to be honest, I actually watched it dubbed. For some reason, my Roku wouldn't let me switch the play settings. Every time I tried, it said there was no other option. So I actually watched it.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it reminded me of those like the old noir movies with the detective into himself. Yeah.
I watched it subbed and raw.
Subbed and raw. Oh, right. There's a reason for that we'll get into shortly. In fact, this is the scene to get into it, right?
Time out.
Yeah.
I just learned he said raw.
Raw.
Yes, raw, meaning zero translation. You just watched it in its original Japanese. I want you to understand that Victor has a first grade Japanese reading level, so
not even
speaking level. He's a kindergarten level speaking level Japanese. So he watched this for a very specific reason, and that has to do with the quality of the transfer. We don't usually dig too much into this, but there is a specifically in this scene where he's getting his orders, there's some interesting things about, the transfer. So Vic, I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Okay, so I noticed, because I watched it raw on Laserdisc, that surprisingly appeared in the lot buy that I got last week. Wasn't expecting that specific title.
Shout out to Bai.
Look, you are an anime aficionado. We know this. You don't have to drop shit like, I got this on the Laserdisc because it was dropped off at a brown paper bag, and I met the guy at a damn elevator in the on the fourth floor of a parking garage. It was dark and it was sweaty. You don't have to do that. You are an anime aficionado. We understand this. If you have to watch it streaming, you uncultured swine. I mean, God damn this dude. Yes, you've been to Japan more times than everybody. You actually shook hands with Akira Tozawa. You shook hands with the dude. My man.
I would not go that far. Like I said, I just did a bulk buy online, and I did not even realize this was a part of it.
The point of this is that there is a quality difference.
Yes, there is a quality difference.
He could have said that easier without going through how he got this from the blood transfer of a goat that he had to sacrifice to Bahamut.
Yeah, really.
He could have got he chose to do it that way.
I hardly feel like
he could have just said, you know what? I have. I mean, he could have just said that part. As a part of just saying,
I was sensing some insecurity, Brian. It's okay.
You know what? Fuck it. Yes. But it's not just the insecurity, it's jealousy. I'll go so far to say it is jealousy. You have tasted sushi from the motherland. I hate you. You have been to the red light district and apparently walked by that bitch. I hate you.
Twice.
You've been to a bathhouse and brought your own fucking towel. I hate you. So don't sit here and talk to me about all the fucking shit you can get at the drop of the nose. How many Gundams you have? I got 93, and one of them is actually rare print edition. I hate it. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
But he digresses. Vic, tell us about the video transfer.
So so besides the fact that watching the Laserdisc and I watched the Blu-ray rip this weekend, right? I also compared this specific scene where Taki is talking to his manager with the DVD/VHS rip of it as well, or not even rip. It's actually streaming on Plex Direct. It's really weird because when they're standing in front of the blinds, right, on the Laserdisc DVD, you can actually see the blinds shining through the cell of the characters. Whereas on the Blu-ray, it looks like they corrected the lighting so that the blinds don't shine through the characters.
It's pretty fascinating because, I mean, it's
not only... I actually knew that. I noticed that myself.
Did you?
Because I'm not an uncultured swine, and I saw this on...
It's just pretty interesting. I just think it's interesting. So like,
DVD rip are so horrible. God,
you'll kind of know what version you're watching, depending on kind of like, you know, that those sorts of bits. At least you'll know the
source of the master that was used to encode.
It's pretty interesting. So yes, Victor watched it, you know, on LD and Blu-ray. Yeah, Blu-ray rip anyway. So it's at this point you find out that the Pope and the Vatican and they got this whole deal where they're working on a treaty. It's not working on a treaty; they're working to renew a treaty with the Demon Realm.
I love the words that they use on this. It's not just we have a treaty. No, this shit is a living document.
We got to get this shit re-signed. And so it's kind of interesting. It's very apropos of, you know, a lot of types of treaties like that. Like they're not so it's I loved that level of realism because of fucking course it's going to expire. So anyway,
we're signing this treaty, but it only lasts a couple 100 years.
Right. So he gets his marching orders. Taki gets his marching orders, and he's now on guard duty for Mayart, who is this fucking old as hell little sumbitch, and
he's here equivalent to Yoda.
He has to protect him long enough to get this peace treaty signed because apparently Mayard is so very important to getting this peace treaty signed. They don't really dig too far into it. They just play that he's a diplomat and his being there is so important to making this happen.
Now it takes it to the airport.
What, B?
So we're just going to pretend that Mayart and Daquan from Ninja Scroll aren't the same fucking person?
He's absolutely the same. And it's
both from Madhouse.
Right, I was just going to say they're both from Madhouse, so the character design is on point. Like, they're right there. Daquan and Mayart are basically the same dude. It's fucking hilarious.
It's the same.
Same director, too.
And there we go. I've been waiting for somebody to point that out, and I admit, right now I was waiting. I was hoping that we were going to get into this.
Yeah,
but we're not going to pretend that same guy, same director, who was responsible for all the character design and everything, basically made the same fucking movie.
Just in different time periods.
No. He made the same fucking movie. And I'll go so far as to say the cover art is the same fucking thing. So of course we are going to have fallen in love with Ninja Scroll. I mean, with this one, because we saw this shit done with Ninja Scroll.
We were primed. There's a lot of similar beats too. A villain who turns to stone through different means, but nevertheless.
Like when that
yes.
happened, even I could say Kagura from Ninja Scroll.
Yeah.
Looked just like Maki.
Very, very similar design, yeah.
Madhouse's designs from back then,
yeah.
You know, because they very similar to like the Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust.
Yeah, Yoshitaka Amano. Yoshitaka Amano? Yeah, Amano. Anyway, he's worked with Madhouse for years, and he worked with both of these guys, the director of this and the original writer. He's worked with them on other things too, like Wind Named Amnesia, Demon City Shinjuku. So they've collaborated on a bunch of projects.
Oh, no,
so,
yes. Not only
so the DNA it's the same fucking DNA.
Same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
absolutely.
Madhouse DNA.
It was that at that moment that I realized when I saw Maki and all this happened, and when I saw Mayart,
yeah,
I was like, hold up. I've seen this before. Right? I have seen insect villain before.
Right.
You know, and this one was a spider and the other one was bees and hornets. I've seen this guy before.
Yeah.
I've seen lightning come down and strike somebody and kill them.
Right.
Seen this shit.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the same basic everything, really. And you know what? I'm okay with it. Like, it's the formula worked, right? So
not only did the formula work, I can honestly say the world scope, the world building in Wicked City is better than just
absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the things I'm going to get into on this is that this film is very tight. It's structurally very tight and very well handled. Like, the exposition dumps are dropped when you need them. There's a mystery. There's an overall noir-esque mystery to it. Like, you're following your lead through this dark underworld and trying to figure out what's happening, who's pulling the strings and all this shit. And everything gets revealed as you go. The beats go until you get to the climax, and you know, everything's finally, you know, brought onto the open. Structurally, it's a fun, very typical, like, mystery noir kind of film. And I appreciated that because I wasn't left asking very many questions.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. So it was cool. It was really cool in that regard. So moving forward, our character is got his job, and he's going to be paired up with an agent from the demon realm, which to me my note was, so it's like Alien Nation. But anyway, he gets paired up with an agent from the demon world, except Makie is apparently a gorgeous model that's her cover here as an agent for the Blackguard. So they have to keep this old fucker alive, and this old dude Mayart is
the worst.
Just the fucking the typical, the trope of the old man pervert. Fucking
God! Every way.
It was Roshi, and it was this motherfucker. Like, this is where these things started.
Don't forget about Cutie Honey. That old ass dude.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of like Haposai.
Right, and Haposai, like the old man pervert trope, it rose to its fullest glory in the late 80s and early 90s. And if this motherfucker isn't the king of it, I don't know. Like, he is unabashedly horny, and it is really a sight to behold.
To behold and be terrified.
Yes, indeed. So Taki arrives at the airport for a fucking cool ass fight scene where he's trying to
fluid again,
trying to defend, you know, to keep the demons at bay long enough to collect Mayart and get him off the scene. And he's fighting on the runway. So he's out on the tarmac and he has to take on these two demons. And it's at this point you find out he's got himself a demon-killing gun, which is...
Yeah,
he's got a literal hand cannon.
It's so machismo bullshit. It's so funny. Like, the recoil on this gun should put a cavity in his body, but he's able to hold this gun and fire it.
The amount of bruises.
It bends the entire fence around. Like, every time he uses this gun, there's damage to
the wall
the
behind
environment around him.
Even
every single time,
blasting into a wall.
Yeah, he gets. It's so great. That's the note I wrote. It's every time he uses his gun, you know shit's getting fucked up. There's gonna be a crater in your wall. The fence is gonna be damn near knocked over.
I'm surprised his shoulders still work.
I was very impressed that they kept that consistent. That at no point is he using the gun and you're not feeling like you're getting punished for it every time.
Yeah,
you know what it felt like. I love when something makes me think of other characters who have to basically suffer to do their job. Like every time I saw him shoot something, I felt like every time Wolverine has to take his claws out.
Yeah.
And they actually and they say, you know what? Do you feel that every single time? Every single time I feel that. Man, that's a whole. For you to do a job, you got to call yourself paid.
I appreciated it. They did kind of like. So one of the questions I had is, in this fight, he's got himself a demon-killing gun that totally apparently didn't fucking kill the demon that he shot, but whatever.
At all.
It's still a really cool scene.
Anxiety.
But yeah, still a cool scene. But then you find out Taki is stronger than the average bear, right? He's able to crack open into the rib cage of the demon that has him pinned, and you're just going, okay. And he's able to like punch a fucking hole in dudes. Like there's
right through his chest.
Yeah, there's an extra layer of strength here. That's otherworldly, I would argue. And I don't know, they never do address that, but he's just like next level.
Never skipped arm day with him.
Right, and then we're introduced to Makie, who comes to his aid, saves his ass, and it's cool. So an interesting point is it took me this long to get into the dub before I realized that the dub version from Streamline in '93 has they call it the Black World, and in the subtitle file they call it the Demon World. So for some reason they chose to not use the word demon. I'm sure there was some kind of censorship reason why they chose not to lean into that. But
see, that's weird because I mean it was rated NC-17 here.
Yeah, and what's funny is the book is called Black World. So it's or Black Guard. Never mind. So I'm wrong on that.
Hold on, you're saying in the dubbed one they go Demon World.
In the dub one they call it the Black World. Yeah. And in the sub they called it the Demon World. So it's an interesting it's an interesting translation. It's supposed to be the Demon World, but so it's an interesting translation.
Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by no means, but associating the word black with demon has been a long staple.
Absolutely, it has.
And clearly, somebody had a hand in that, but.
I mean, it's, the associations between the darkness and evil and all that. So I get what they're doing. It's just, it's a strange choice that they chose to do. I wanted.
They could have been any color.
And, I just wanted to comment on it. It was an interesting sort of decision. I don't know why they chose to lean into it, but whatever.
And I'm glad you did. You did. I'm happy that you could point out something like that and see how wrong it is for them to do it when they can really just use the word demon
or the dark realm. They could have called it the dark world. It's anything would have worked. So it's at this point that we find out the Mayart's plane explodes in a blaze of glory, and it's just like crazy. And at this point, they've established in exposition that what's happening is there are these demon extremists who are trying their damnedest to make sure this peace treaty doesn't get renewed. So Mayart is at risk of assassination. So his plane explodes, everybody shits a brick, then you find out Mayart's smarter than the average bear, and he took an earlier flight, so he's already there, chewing on popcorn, having a time.
So, enjoying the show.
We're not even worried about the people that were on that plane, though, right?
Nope, not that. And what's funny is in the dub, at least, the version I watched, Taki and Makie do comment on that. It's like, how much loss of life is this one person worth? And Mayar don't give a fuck. Mayar's chewing his popcorn, watching the blaze, having a good old time with it.
Thought it was a great entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah, just thought it was the bee's knees.
I will comment. That red battle scene, the lighting, how they did that, beautiful. I was like, this
movie, just like several other titles, every dollar of this budget, you can see it. This is a beautiful movie.
Oh, for sure. And also product placement.
Yeah, no kidding. There's something to be said about when the artistic people who are in charge of the artistic direction are also the people in charge of the key animation, who are also the people in charge of the directing of the film. You definitely get something that's visually gonna be a stunning project.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to admit, because I'm one of them. Not all artists are good writers, so it's a rare thing to have something that looks really good yet also is a cohesive story. So Wicked City is pretty unique in anime as far as this goes.
We haven't really addressed our thoughts about the story, but I'll go ahead and say right now, they do a lot to piece everything together.
They do.
They do a great deal.
It's a puzzle that does get put together by the end of the movie.
Yeah, by the end of the movie, it's like now you get it.
Yeah,
everything's on the silver platter at the very end.
Yeah.
It has been such a long time since I've seen Wicked City to realize that, oh my gosh, I had forgotten that they're not supposed. Yeah. The plot twist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
It's great. So you're this whole time you're commiserating with Taki and Makie because Mayar's a fucker, and you're just like, oh my god, I can't believe these people have to put up with this shit, and all he wants to do is get laid, and he is trying like hell to do it.
After getting laid and being damn near assassinated.
Right. So
he got laid. He accomplished what he was looking for.
Right. So they take him to this hotel, and this hotel is this really. It reminds me of like in John Wick. It's like this special hotel that you can take somebody to. Right. Like, here's my coin, here's my marker. I just need a room for the night. We're gonna be safe. And they do this, and the exposition at this point is that this building has like spiritual energy protections in place. Like there's these things that are gonna keep demons from being able to get inside. And then they say, the old man asks the right question. He's like, well, why the fuck is she here? And Makie is apparently been trained to resist these barriers. So then my first thought is like, no other demons have figured out how to train themselves to do this. Like, is it just only the Black Guard knows how to do it? That seems sus. And of course, that suspicion pays off almost immediately as they manage to break right into the fucking building.
How difficult can it be?
Barely an inconvenience.
Super easy. He had to pop up through the floor, so that'd be slightly annoying.
Yeah, that sonic scream going on that rips flesh from your body.
Seriously.
Take arm from your body.
And not just that. The hotelier, if you will.
Yeah.
The concierge.
The concierging.
He set up and poised to be. I'm expecting like homeboy from Mephisto. That's his name. In Demon City Shinjuku.
Yeah. You're thinking you're gonna get that. You're thinking you're gonna get. I'm gonna keep calling him Alucard. You keep thinking you're gonna get Alucard.
And Mephisto was that? Was
Mephisto.
Yeah, it was Mephisto. Yeah.
Yeah. You think you're gonna get Mephisto? He gets his ass whooped, and we're thinking, oh shit, he's dead. He dead.
Right, because the detail shot of them like shredding his arm from his body, you're just like, oh, this motherfucker's so dead.
Yeah. You don't put this much effort.
He's done.
Just for him to say, I'm all right. So why the fuck are you still laying down?
I'm okay.
It's just a flesh wound. It was the fake arm. I'm gonna lay here for a bit though. You go on.
He answered immediately.
I need a nap.
Hey, buddy. Are you okay? Yeah. They got my finger. Like he answered. He didn't have to get up and check a pulse. He didn't have to do nothing. Matter of fact, he knew that he was still alive.
Yeah.
Taki knew that he was still alive. I was like,
yeah, like didn't even doubt it. So
really, all I was expecting, I was expecting like the Men in Black scene,
right,
where Wolf comes in and he goes, I was at the fire and I went, and he kicked me and it hurt, but I was cool. I was expecting some kind of dialogue like that. Like I got him with the knife and he ripped my arm off and it hurt, but I'm cool. I'm good.
I'm cool. Oh my god. Yeah, so this character rolls in with his 80s shades and his whole vibe, and you find out that he's one of Maki's old flings, a friend named Jin. And he gets the best of her. And then does
more ways than one.
Super easy.
Yeah, barely an inconvenience. And he begins to rape Makie. And it's very explicit. This movie's very explicit for those of you who may not be aware. And he gets a bullet for it. He gets a bullet to the chest for it. And what's interesting about it, though, is something I didn't realize at first. Is that, yeah, he got a bullet for it, but he was also getting that weird blue electricity from the wound.
Mm-hmm.
And that weird blue electricity is something that comes into play later, several times. And you realize it's maybe not the bullet that did him in, because we already established the demon killing bullet ain't so good at doing the demon killing. But
it's more like
they aren't sure fucking good at it. So it was just kind of an interesting. I was like, I wonder, and they never address it. My headcanon is Maillard did a lot of the heavy lifting on that to save her before he did.
Oh, so many.
Well, he explains it at the end too, so.
Look, he does a great job of throwing the scent off of him. He does. Yes, by being fucking miserable. Like just terrible. I did not see that coming. Yeah. That was great. At this point, Taki's like up against the wall. There's a fucking crater in the wall because he shot Jin with the gun, and it's just like, damn, that still looks like it hurts. And
right.
and Mayor's taken to the wind. He's gone. And of course, they know exactly where he went, and we all knew exactly where he went.
Because he's been ignoring the whole time.
He went to the one place that Vic did not go to.
You went to go get some.
He went to the soap land.
And Maillard is unabashedly enjoying himself a massage.
For somebody who's that old, apparently he was giving the business.
Apparently he's got a pull.
Girl.
He gets a mouthful of titty, and apparently COVID. I think he got COVID. I'm pretty sure he got COVID from the titty. So
he tried to follow what the stone guy did. It tried to eat through the boob.
Yeah, right. That's right.
I just find it funny. He's like, "Oh, did I just swallow something?" And then he keeps on.
He got COVID. That's what he got. Like he did. I'm just saying it, and this will come into play later. He totally got fucking COVID. So, and then you find out the tits are so soft they melt in your hands, literally.
They melt your body.
Along with everything else.
And again, they do a great job of just highlighting fears I did not know I had. I'm a breast man. I love the female form, and I was enjoying the look of those breasts that were there, just for them breasts to attack me. I mean, him. They are, not me.
Yeah, they are, not you.
Not me. Yeah.
They are not M&Ms.
The whole thing. There was just so much wrong. It was body horror, and it was so well done. It was so well done. They come in.
That's a perfect phrase. Body.
When that happened, he was like, going on.
I love they come into the room and he's half absorbed into her chest. He's got his face where her boob should be, and his hand is melted where the other boob was. Like, how he went out.
There's no way you can delete that search.
I was terrified. I was, because
fuck.
Like everything that had potentially killed somebody, I would have died too. The sideways mouth castration.
Yeah.
You would have got me, buddy.
You done? Yeah.
You would have got me. melted it in boobs with the hand. You would have got me. I
There
have
you go.
not seen, but you say it's completely different from something like Wood and Vagina Girl from fucking 3x3 Eyes.
Right.
I would have touched that with a 10-foot pole.
You'd have been fine, but this they did tricked you every time.
Look.
So they rescue him from this demon, and then they slay this demon chick, and they get Mayart in the car, and Maki is holding him, and she's trying to like heal him. She can't figure out the fuck's wrong with him. She's got him like right there, and they find they're in a trap. There's this trap that they're stuck in, and then the old man loses his shit and he spits up a parasite, right? And because Makie is the closest to him, now she got infected. See, I told you it was COVID. She was too close. It was a social distancing.
You got
The
social
parasite,
distancing.
he came out his mouth, got all up on her, and she got the COVID. So she's trapped in a tentacle rape scene that doesn't play out completely, and that's fine. She tears into her own titty and frees them from this trap that they're in. At this point, you assume that she's done because she sacrificed herself to save them, to get away. And you're like, damn, that's fucked up. It was dark. It was really cool and really terrifying. There's a really cool shot, animation nerd moment at about 40 minutes in where the car is traveling through the forest, and it's a short shot, but it's just the silhouette of the car with the car lights, and then you see that where the headlights are trailing through the trees. That's a fucking beautiful shot. I'm sorry. It's just so cool.
The driving shots were beautiful, like in the tunnel, on the highway. And
it's one of those shots where you don't realize you're watching animation. Like you forget because you're enveloped in the story, and the shot takes you through it. It's the way it would be if it were shot for real. And it was just really cool. And so
during the driving scene, you know what really stood out to me? The lamp poles.
Yeah. There's so much.
Yeah, or in the tunnel, just the lights and the way it was perfect.
So much good shit there. Anyway, it was just a really cool shot, and I wanted to call it out. So anyway, they take Maki. They leave Makie, who's fucked, and he takes Mayart. He gets a small bead.
And fuck you.
He gets a small bead. He takes Mayart to a safe house. And at the safe house, you find Taki finds out that Makie isn't dead. She's just being perpetually gang raped by demons. And the whole point is to piss Taki off enough to come and rescue her. Which if this had been any other blackguard, that plan would have been ruined. But because it was Taki, apparently a hopeless romantic, he wants to go save his partner.
Yeah. It's this plot point that I don't think they earned.
His desire to rescue her. Right. Yeah.
That makes sense, right?
Absolutely. No, I'm with you on it. It's at this point you're like, they've been partners for 5 minutes, and she's like, I will die for him, and he's like, cool, because that's kind of your job. And then she literally dies for him, and he's like, that sucked. Like you see him taking a beat, he's like, that sucks, but I still got a job to do. And he's like dedicated to the job. But then at this point, he sees that she's being tortured, and he says, fuck it, fuck everything, fuck the mission. I'm going to go save my partner that I've been partners with for 5 minutes. I feel like, yes, they didn't earn his desire to save her so much as they used it as a character building moment for Taki. Like that human life, or any life, human or demon, is still valuable. And to lose it, and the reason that the way they set it up was small. It was at the airport when all those innocents died for no reason, and he's like, it's such a loss of life, it's waste, and it's a small cue, but the cue is that life matters to him, and that's the reason he does the job. So protecting Mayart, who he clearly didn't fucking like, and saving Taki from that horror were his motivations. I don't feel like the connection was a personally intimate connection, which I feel like that's maybe what they were going for. But
the problem.
But
all right, it's one thing for this to be the headcanon for us, right? But you go ahead and if you're going to go through that much to talk about the loss of human life,
right?
Then he can go through that and say that during that moment, make some type of declaration, animate some type of declaration where you're actually saying, you know what? I don't care if it was a demon. I save lives. That's what I do. You know, build that a part of this character said that whenever I'm on a mission, I do the most I can to protect life. You know?
It's a missed beat. It's definitely a flaw. It's a missed beat. He puts his life on the line at a point where a lot of characters, based on the story development alone, is like, well, they did their job. Like, you've done what you're supposed to do. So he does.
They don't highlight his trait that makes him want to go for there.
They really don't. Yeah, it's a missed beat. No film is perfect. This is definitely a flub on their part. But it works for him. He's motivated to go save his partner. But he shows up and it's just this sort of weird thing because it's Wicked City. It's fucking weird. And it's like, cool, you've came to save Taki, but first you're going to have to fuck this lady. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, that's the vibe they're giving you. And she disrobes and you're like, wait, so he like has to like fuck her? Like, cause they're like, you have to give your whole body. And it's like, oh, okay, but we're talking about fucking, right? And then like her whole torso opens up into like a vagina demon. Like, I don't know what's going on there.
Again, make another damn fear that I did not know I have. I don't consider
that demon that earned them the NC-17.
Brian, those aren't abs, those are lips.
Look, I'm just saying this. I don't consider myself a ladies' man at all. So when somebody throws themselves at me, I'm hoping they did the due diligence and they're not a fucking demon. I would have lost.
Yeah, that's another one. That's the third time Brian died.
Third
time. So he gets roped. It's really so again. It's a cool. The animation of this is so cool. When she disrobes, her silk dress like clings to her nipple before it completely falls
that
off.
Part right there.
It was so cool. I was like, God damn it! Why they got to make something like that like work so well? Like really
in my life, I'm going to try to recreate that. Just no. Oh damn! It fell off. Nah, I can't use cotton. I got to use polyester. Polyester, fall. Ah, fuck no. What can I use? Yoga pants.
Silk. It was clearly silk. It was such a well done shot, and then it's this great moment because it's like this titillation, and you just know based on what you've seen so far, shit's about to go south, right? So you get this. It's alluring, and you're like, damn. On any other day, this would work for me. But I've seen too much shit, and little man has gone turtle. So there's no way this is going to work the way you think it does. And sure as shit, like right after that, her whole fucking abdomen opens up, and you're just, that's a no.
Yeah, you think that, but was her robe hung on the nipple?
Yeah.
I'm done.
You're like, turtle's like, are we good? We're good? No, fuck no, we're not good.
And that's why Brian would have died the third time.
It was
at that moment in time, I would have been like, "Yep, here we go." Like,
and she's like mesmerizing him with her abdomen vagina. It's fascinating. But you know what? He powers through and he busts out his BFG and he starts fucking people up. And it's another great action sequence.
Oh yeah, and he punches through that one guy's face and the eyeballs pop out.
The eyeballs pop out, the face caves in. It's animated so well. It's so well animated. Guys, listeners, just do yourself a favor and go watch it. It's so well animated. It's just worth that. That alone is worth it.
This was actually earlier. We have to keep pointing this out. This was done earlier than Ninja Scroll.
This is 87.
Yes, this was made in 87. We didn't see it until the early 90s, 93. But 87 is when this was made. And so, yeah, it's just, anyway. So he beats the fuck out of everybody. And then the last dude, because the last ninja is essentially unkillable. Last guy, I've called him Elbows because I didn't know what his name was.
Yeah.
So Elbows, he gets his little Guyver elbow spikes and they pop out and you're like, okay, cool. And then he like absorbs the goo of his fallen comrades and turns into stone. And he's like, go ahead and shoot me, bitch. And he's like, okay. And he tries to put a bullet in him and shit don't happen. I'm like, once again, his demon killing gun has failed to kill a demon. I think it's killed one demon at this point. And it was the vagina body.
Right.
So I love this moment for one reason, and it's that, and there's a couple times in this movie where these sorts of things happen, but this is one of those moments. Taki does the thing that most people think. Taki does the thing that happened in Ninja Scroll. You can't be stone everywhere, can you? And he puts the bullet right through that fucker's mouth. And of course, in Ninja Scroll, it was a dart to the eyeball. But yeah, it's like, you can't be stone everywhere, motherfucker. If you're moving, there's got to be a fleshy bit. And he exploits it. And I love that he exploited it. It was cool. It was a great moment. But Brian's absolutely right. It's Ninja Scroll. Before Ninja Scroll was Ninja Scroll. The orders.
Were you good? Was anybody going to make that point?
No, I had no intention. I was gonna admittedly
work on Ninja Scroll.
I do have a note that's Stone Guy straight out of Ninja Scroll. Like that's the note I had. But to bring out that the entire narrative is basically the same movie with the pieces rearranged. Truly, it's cool.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy.
No, you brought it, man. So here's a moment where I'm like, Taki has rescued Makie, and you're like, okay, cool, he saved her, right? All the demons are dead. He's got naked Makie next to him. And it's at this point that I'm going, dude, based on everything that you have lived through in the last 48 hours, why would you trust that even fucking Makie is Makie at this point? Like, I wouldn't trust fucking anybody, especially the most beautiful woman you've ever seen in your life being naked in front of you. And that's a red flag. I don't give a fuck. Based on everything you've seen. But no, he's confident that it's her. And he was right. Good for him. But for me, I'd have been like, hey, are you okay? Like from the other side of the room. You okay? I'll get you a jacket. Hang on. Look.
Hello?
Yes.
Based on that statement that you made, that probably would have been the fourth time I died.
It's just like at that point, I just would have been suspicious of fucking everyone.
No. She's naked. Clearly, she's a lady. She's a saint. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. Put some respect on her name, and let me give her my jacket. Give her my jacket. Did you not see the care she did when she healed him with her aloe vera magic?
Right, her hand waving. So it's cool. This is a cool moment now because we get another little bit of info dump. We find out for sure that Spider Bitch stole his seed because she needed to get a DNA test done, and
which he's much easier ways to go about that.
Yeah, this could have handled this so many other ways. But she got what she needed, and you
all
find out.
So no. We need to explore. She got what she needed.
Got what she needed.
All right, so
in more ways than one.
I need to know how they performed the examination. Did she squirt it out? Did they put it to a
as we've established, as it gets established very quickly, there's a lot going on down there. There's a whole web making factory inside that vagina.
Right. Web making factory. I mean,
oh God, is it web or is it talking?
Look, she could have caught it in the web and then spit.
No. Who put the hand in there? Exactly how long of a Q-tip did you need to swab her insides? No. We need to. No. You don't just awaken a fear like that for me, and then just make it seem like we were able to.
It's behind the scenes.
She kegled that stuff until she got where she was going, and then she released.
Right, no. There's anime. No, I refuse. No.
Second, you'll have to write them.
No. It had a mouth. The teeth were jagged. There was no dental plan for second mouth on the punani. How did they get the sample?
I got all the questions, man.
That mouth held in its cheek the whole time.
Dude.
Kind of like a hamster.
It was a mouth, so there could have been a cheek. but that's a sack. And how did they not think it was cross contamination?
You know, she had a prophylactic inside, and it was clearly for obtaining the sample. She gets it. Point is, she got what she needed. He has the genetic markers for something, but they're not exactly clear on what. So Elbows is like, hey, I'm busy regenerating because I got my shit fucked up. Will you go take care of this? And Spider Bitch is like, I got this. I should have killed him the first time. And I'm like, yeah, you probably should have. If you thought, that's the second time you should have killed someone and you didn't do it. So Spider Bitch is a fuck up. That much is clear.
This fight that's coming up that we're about to talk about with the web.
Beautiful.
So well done.
Yeah.
So well done.
There's a whole like unnecessary sequence where they're all in a car, or where they're in a car and there's this like love song kind of playing over it, and you're like, I get that they're channeling the genre. You know, it's got that hard 80s vibe. I'm like, okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Mayart's back, and you're like, oh, they had gotten fired, which we didn't cover.
Yeah, you didn't say that. They got fired.
Yeah, they got fired, and so they're leaving. They're like, fuck it, we're going home. And Mayart, like, he riding in the back. He like snuck in the back of the car, and he's fucking with him, and you're just like, great, whatever. And then all of a sudden, and I swear to God, the sound effect on this is just so wrong. There's vaginal webbing everywhere. Suddenly, you've got vaginal webbing, and the splurt sound that it makes when it hits the car, I was so uneasy. I'm like, oh God, it's not just it's moist vaginal webbing. It's really gross. I'm not comfortable with this. It's wrong in every way. And the car gets all tangled up in this vaginal webbing trap. It is horrible. Sir.
Yes. Those two words that I never thought of ever, vaginal webbing. Like,
yeah.
Like, when you think of this, right? Like, somebody who hasn't had sex in a long time, and they'll be like, man, you can knock the cobwebs out my pussy. You know?
Right, yeah, literally. Yeah.
She doesn't mean it literally. If you ever run across a literal vaginal web, you need to run away.
Run. Just be like, I need to use the bathroom first. Is that cool? And then be like Maynard and dip through the window.
Right out the window.
Doesn't matter if you're
on the third, fourth floor or out the window.
Just go.
So
go. Run.
I will say this. The first time she would have got me.
Yeah.
When I saw her the second time, nah.
You're done.
I learned my lesson.
Oh, she was in full spider mode in the second time. So
she's fucking terrifying. This is my note. This woman is fucking terrifying. Yeah. She is terrifying.
Oh yeah, if you've got fear of spiders, this is your worst nightmare.
All the reasons.
I was literally like this. I couldn't walk. She scares the crap out of me because I don't like spiders either. So I'm sitting here going like this.
Makie takes a hit for Taki on
Hold
this.
On. Yeah. Like, you know the part where you cover your eyes and you bring your hands together like this? That where you bring them in horizontally as opposed to vertically? Even though horizontal was scaring me. So I couldn't... It looked like it was chopping me. It hurt.
I can't do this.
I can't do this.
It was fucking terrible. And it just gets worse. She's terrifying. Makie takes a hit for Taki, and she protects him. She gets the spider leg, and I don't know. Anyway, she's fucked. So then Spider Bitch is, again, this is the third mistake for Spider Bitch. Rather than just killing him, she decides she's going to torture him to death. And she just starts like splaying at him. Like you could tell she's just cutting him the fuck up. There's blood coming off of him. There's blood spattering on her vaginal webbing. There's blood everywhere.
The hand. The animation of the hand.
Yeah.
Shows the surrender. Oh my God.
It's so good. You can tell he's fucked. He's dying. This is it. And then once again, God damn it. Blue lightning comes up again. This is the third time blue lightning shows up. Blue lightning shows up. It travels down her vaginal webbing. It gets her right in the goods. Gets her right in the goods and electrocutes her to death. It's poetic. It's really what that is. It's poetic. Spider Bitch gets shocked in the junk. It's nasty.
All right. I know that her punani was at the healthiest of environment. It's toxic.
Right.
I feel bad for her.
Because if you're gonna go, like that's not where you want it to be.
Right. I don't want her to die. And I want her to get.
She has to do the whole fight or death dance thing.
Yeah, like the split. So good.
So good.
It's great. It's so good.
But I actually feel bad for her. I was like, you know what? They're being rude.
And they do that. I love the mysterious shocks of consistently. There's these little moments with the mysterious blue electricity saving their ass over and over again, and they don't give you that payoff until just a little bit from now. But this is the last time it's used in such a way, and you're like, what the fuck was that, right? Like you just know there's going to be a term, but what is it? So at this point, we wake up in a church where Taki and Makie, they decide to make love. Are they dream fucking? No explanation for how they were healed. Nothing like that. You're just kind of in a mystery. And I love that
naked, and there they are.
And I love that Taki starts asking the right questions after he got some, of course. But he starts asking the right questions. He's like, "Is this a dream? How are we alive? How did we get here?" And he looks at her. "Are you crying?" Like it's like a whole. Like this sequence of he's finally becoming lucid enough to go, wait a minute, shit's wrong right now. Like what is happening?
Something doesn't make
sense.
But
again, he has not shown that discerning power.
Right.
There was no level. There was no level up on this either.
No. He's just as dense as he was. Makie is crying, and apparently you find out demons are not able to cry, but for some reason Makie is able to. So interesting, mysterious. Why is that important? We'll find out, because this movie does lay it all out for you, and it's kind of cool. At this point, Mayart shows up again because you just can't get rid of this guy, and now you get big twist reveal. The whole thing is that you learn that Taki and Makie have these genetic markers that they should be able to parent the first half-breeds of the world, and as a symbol of peace, these people will bring about the peace between the two of them. It's a fun twist because you find out that Mayart is actually the bodyguard.
Correct.
Mayart isn't the problem. He's the fucking solution, and he's been saving their ass this whole movie.
Mayart is Blue Lightning.
It's his blue lightning, and he starts taking on the enemy and defending them and all this. And you get Mayart's in trouble because Elbows, he captures him in a shadow and he starts fucking his shit up. And it's Brian, this right here, this Taki, knowing full well that Mayart's the bodyguard and that they are the ones at risk, instead of getting Makie and getting the fuck out, Taki still risks his life to save Mayart. Even though Mayart told him flat out, it's like, you're the one in danger, I'm your bodyguard. He still risks his own life to save him, which is the third time that reinforced to me that he's a character of good moral. Like he's gonna save this guy, even though he doesn't fucking like him. He doesn't deserve to die. He's gonna save him. So he risks his own life to save this guy, and he gets fucked up too. But Mayart gets the best of him, and he fucks his shit up. And this time Elbows is regenerating a lot faster. And that's my note. Elbows is regenerating a lot faster this time. That's not good. Mm-hmm. And then they fucking addressed it. And I loved that they addressed it. It took him a really long time to regenerate the first time. So this time he's going a lot faster. And I'm like, that can't be. That doesn't seem good. And Mayart calls it out. He's like, he's regenerating way too fast this time. I'm like, okay. They addressed, they called out this thing that ordinarily would have thrown me off. And at this point, Makie shows up for the big save, and she's got her Super Saiyan glow happening here, and fucks his shit up. And you find out that Mayart's giving you exposition that she's mutated. She's mutated at this moment.
That is the worst
word. It is
for she's pregnant or you knock her up. I've ever heard of that.
It's a terrible way to describe that.
You are the baby daddy.
The beauty, the beauty of life. This is a miracle. Should that happen? She's mutated.
She fucking mutated. It was wild. But yes, she had a glow about her for an obvious reason.
All right.
She was with child. You find out she's pregnant, and she's apparently in becoming pregnant, she gains extra power, which cool. That's helpful because it's saved, and it makes sense from a maternal standpoint. There's the motherly protective nature. Like a lot of animals, they gain, like stronger senses and shit. So it worked out. It was cool. It was a neat save. It wasn't the Deus Ex that it could have been. They did it well, except calling it a mutation, which is fucking weird.
You could tell he doesn't like his female protagonists at all.
No. And you get to this last little bit of exposition from Mayar where he says, because at this point any reasonable person might have been like, well, why not just find any motherfuckers that can make this work and make it happen? And you come to find out that he can't, because the two people have to actually fall in love.
That's like the icing on the cake.
The entire thing is a bust if these two people aren't attracted to each other enough.
Oh yeah, this is straight up the Fifth Element. You just brought that into the
Yep, absolutely. It has to be love. So and this is another part that kind of pissed me off, because I'm like, fuck you, Taki. Like, he's like, don't you love her? And he's like, yeah, I mean, yeah. And I'm like, bitch, what? He doesn't explicitly tell her, he's just like,
yeah,
I guess. Like, it was just so weird. It was just this very weird. I guess it's because they didn't want their machismo male lead to have to be soft in any capacity, but like, it would have been the best moment if he would have been absolutely unequivocally in love with her, and they missed it.
Let's just go ahead and speak on this, ladies and gentlemen. And we're speaking to the gentlemen right now. We're not really talking about the ladies right now. If you get somebody pregnant and you decide to stay with them, the answer is yes. I love it. The answer is yes.
It's very simple.
Very simple. The answer is always going to be
any other answer beyond yes is wrong.
You've given the wrong answer.
Find out how wrong you are.
Just it got a bit muddy there for Taki. Like, aren't you sure? I mean, obviously it worked because she got a glow up, so clearly you do, whether or not you're willing to admit it. So nevertheless, Makie and Taki are with child, and you get a nice little closing monologue from Taki as he lets you know that he got his job back at the Black Guard, and he's going to keep doing his Black Guard job. And the final shot is him firing his BFG, and it cuts to a red and black sort of splash of it. And it's really, really cool, really well done. It's a good hero's closing that's so very 80s.
And then you get a very, very short ending credits.
You do. It is a very short ending. It was so short, I was like, is there a stinger or something? Like, but no, there wasn't. It was, so anyway, it was fun. It was a fun fucking movie. It was wild. The creator...
This is actually... Yeah. Hold on. We never really get to the end of movies like this, like we did.
Yeah.
It's very rare that we actually talk from A to Z.
We discussed the whole bloody movie.
We do, but in this particular case, the narrative is
so well done.
In my opinion, it's so well strung along in... for the genre that it was trying to do. It did it so well that we were able to follow it narratively, and it still landed, The creator, Hideyuki Kikuchi, he's responsible also for Demon City Shinjuku, which both films released right around the same time in the early 90s. And like we had talked about during the Demon City Shinjuku episode, that these were sort of like the volcano and the Dante's Peak, the Armageddon, and the, like there was the two films were... Yeah, a Deep Impact, Armageddon moment. So these two films were kind of released almost against each other in a sense, because they both had very similar sort of vibe. And I will argue that I feel like Wicked City does it better. It does it significantly better. And it's funny because Demon City Shinjuku is Kikuchi's first novel. It's his first one. So clearly he was getting the kinks out, because by the time he got to the Wicked City shit, he refined how to write a good narrative and how to get that done. So it was kind of cool. And it was, the director, Kawajiri, had collaborated with Kikuchi on Demon City Shinjuku and on this, and on Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which is a whole other ball of wax. Yeah, it was fun. I got mindless musing on this one is the streamlined dub. They use a lot of their mainstays. Greg Snegoff is Taki. He's Scott Bernard from Robotech. Mike Reynolds, he's Dolza in Robotech. Jeff Winkless is Magnus Lee from the original Vampire Hunter D, and he does a voice in this too. So Edie Meerman, who's Miria from Robotech, and a couple other, it's so streamlined. They always bring back their faves. They brought them all back again for this one too. So it was kind of fun hearing those actors back again. Vic, you had an interesting note that I saw you share.
Yeah, it was reportedly that Miyazaki was so impressed by Kazuo Oga's art direction for the movie that he hired Oga to help with My Neighbor Totoro. They released in the following year.
Which is pretty wild. Go from this gig to probably the most wholesome piece of animation ever come out of Japan.
It actually makes sense, and I can tell you why. I know exactly. I was there.
It's the art direction. I mean, the art direction in this movie was phenomenal.
No. The way he said it is, the way you were able to animate the nipple, sir. I can choose you to animate fur. I love the way you make the nipple. The nipple is so supple, and the fact that you gave a nipple just strength to hold up the fabric for just a moment. It's an important job. So, on this alone, you deserve.
That's how it went down. Yeah, that seems so
animate a child's movie.
A child's film. Yeah, I can see the correlation. Sure.
And you know why you do it for children? Because babies suck on nipples. That's why. We don't make the love. This is the
babies and Mayart.
Babies and Mayart. They suck on nipples. And Brian. Brian suck on nipples. There's so much that I actually did a search for. Is Mayart and Daquan the same guy?
Sure.
I was inconclusive of that. It is inconclusive. But look, Andrea, you got to get a picture of Mayart and Daquan and put them together right now. That way we know they're the same fucking guy.
They don't give you Mayart's age except that he's over 200.
Even to the point where they have the whole mustache that comes out here.
Little Fu Manchu thing going on?
No, where it doesn't connect all the way through.
No, it's not. It's just on the edges. Yeah.
Man, it's the long beard. It is exactly the same. He plagiarized himself.
I mean, I guess that's one way to do it. Is it plagiarizing, or is it just like, I'm going to iterate on these designs, this next thing I'm working on?
He recycled.
Yeah.
Well, I have a funny feeling because of the fact that I don't like the fact that I'm mad at him for taking from Ninja Scroll when it's really the reverse.
Indeed. It is. If anything, you should be mad that Ninja Scroll ripped off Wicked City. You should be mad at Ninja Scroll, Brian. You shouldn't be mad at Wicked City. It predated Ninja Scroll by like 8 years. Think something like that.
So, am I mad or are we mad? Are we collectively mad at
I'm not. I'm not mad because both films to me work. They work really well, and they the formula gets mixed up enough. Some of the beats are the same. Some of the characters are the same, but the formula is mixed up enough that I'm able to enjoy both films, and so I can't be mad that it's like, hey, we had a thing that works. Let's do it again, because guess what? They do that shit with Star Wars. Force Awakens is A New Hope. It's just like, hey, we did this shit. It works. We're going to do it again. And it made a fuck ton of money. Like,
you know how I feel about this.
Uh-huh.
You know
I do.
Why would you do this? Why would you say that? Why would you do that to me?
I mean, come on. Mayart was this movie's Yoda.
Don't you do that. You know, when I hear that, it's like somebody's licking in my ass with a cactus. I don't like this shit. So why would you do that? What?
What's funny is that you totally works when I said that earlier in the show.
Because I do not disagree with you that these are very similar films. That they use the same basic character tropes, the same basic narrative ideals, And I say, with 100% confidence, that Disney did the same fucking thing. And it worked. It worked for them.
No. They made this. Look. They made A New Hope again. In the same universe, they made A New Hope again. It's completely different because we have not established any relationship between Ninja Scroll and Demon City. We want there to be because I would feel better about it. But if they do that, then we can say they made it again. But right now, the statement that you're making is licking my ass with a cactus. I don't like it. Please, sir, put your tongue back in your mouth, take the cactus off, and treat my ass with some respect. Please stop.
No, Brian, I feel like now you're ready to close out. I feel like that's what I'm hearing here.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right, let's do this. Lynette, had you ever seen Wicked City before?
Yeah.
I love that you keep getting these great psychotic old films. At least we kind of prepped you a little bit for this one, maybe a little bit more than we did for previous ones. What did you think of it? Like, absolutely fresh eyes. I'm so curious. Like, how did it go for you?
Enjoyed it. It's actually it's a genre that I usually don't get into because it reminded me of like those dark noir detective movies without how it opened up. But I was like, but the animation was beautiful. It just flowed really nicely, and I got hooked. It drew me in. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna give this a shot. I actually enjoyed it, and so.
Awesome.
It wasn't so bad. I could watch it in the big screen. I didn't have to hide away to watch it. So it was still okay.
Oh, man.
But I really liked it. I was glad that the female character was actually better.
Yeah, definitely.
I was kind of worried, because we had done the Demon City one and I wanted to murder the female character. In this one, I was like, well, at least she knows how to fight.
Yeah. Saves the day a few times. Yeah. So I'm guessing that's a yes on recommending this to modern audiences.
Oh yeah.
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 Awesome. Vic, I'm gonna go over to Vic now. Vic, I know we've here in the trio of gentlemen on the panel that we've all visited Wicked City before, but how did it feel to come back to it?
Okay, well, it was like catching up with an old friend. When I first watched it was actually on pay-per-view when it first released in the US. Right? So this was 93, 94. It's like,
yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is like, it was pay-per-view, but I was like, wow, this is on TV.
Yeah.
It was just weird at that time because I think it was like one of the first anime on pay-per-view ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is an absolute must-watch. The animation quality is beautiful. And what I liked, the dark look of the film, it reminded me similar of like Batman the Animated Series where it was super dark, but then when colors were on screen, they pop.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful movie. The animation sequences in multiple parts are just phenomenal. The fight at the airport when they're just running, just the running animation, fluid. When they're driving through tunnels, it's insane. Definitely must watch. And if you're going to watch it, at least go the Blu-ray version. Do not do the DVD. Do not do VHS.
Fair.
Do Blu-ray. And if you want to do it on a dead format, do Laserdisc as well, because the Laserdisc was clean.
All right. So there's your technical aspect of it. Skip the DVD. And apparently skip the free stream. Oh yeah, the free stream looked like it was either pulled from the DVD or from the VHS. It was god awful. So skip the free stream too. Get yourself a better copy.
Because Plex has free movies to stream. If you haven't, don't watch it there because it was god awful. The quality was horrendous.
That's all right. Brian, you'd seen Wicked City before in the 90s.
I had.
But is it one of those ones that you just don't remember? Like you remember little bits of it, but like
it feels familiar, but I still found myself being surprised by certain things.
Nice.
Like the whole plot twist at the end.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming.
That's great.
I was completely
definitely surprised by a lot of things. So how did you now? So since you're coming to it semi-fresh, really, like how did it feel for you? This anime from 1987, knowing you've seen so many anime from that era, especially just through this show alone, we've done so many of these. How do you feel like this holds up, arguably against its competitors, against the Demon Cities and the other genre-esque horror films of that time? How does it hold up for you?
I love the consequences that they put into the movie. You know, big fucking gun, you shoot it, you're going to feel it. I feel the weight of that every time you pull the trigger. You know, I think it holds up. This is probably one of the first times I'll say that you can watch it then and you can watch it now. And maybe because of the fact that it's demons as opposed to actual humans, they didn't seem like the demons were taking advantage of humanity, you know? Humanity was putting up a fight. Humanity, we're not just going to just be... And even then, they took the care to make... You really didn't see any difference between the demons and the humans, except for when they transformed, you know?
Right,
Spider-Bitch notwithstanding, she wasn't always Spider-Bitch. She actually started off as and then she transformed.
Yeah.
Elbow Guy, same thing with him. There is something about the way they animated him for the second time, where his hair was that long, luscious, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of a character that you remember Jean-Claude Van Damme in Kickboxer?
Sure.
Well, the Kickboxer is supposed to be from the future. No, not Kickboxer.
The one where he's
from the
Time Cop.
No, not Time Cop. It's the one where he's
Universal Soldier.
No.
I know Van Damme's in a lot of movies, bro.
I know I'm not helping out, but there's one where
Street
he
Fighter.
has
No.
Yeah, that's it. When he's fighting Bison.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't know why it didn't take me that long to figure it, but there's one where he's fighting Cyborg. It's Cyborg.
Cyborg. All right. Apocalyptic. All right.
So apocalyptic, but the guy gave me that same type of feel from Cyborg.
Okay. All right.
You know, I love it when they draw somebody so menacing that it makes me feel like somebody who I can relate to on cinema. Not necessarily him.
Right. But
freaky as fuck, but he gave me that same presence, and I like that.
That's cool. So I dig it. So yeah, it does. I'll piggyback off of you, P. This movie holds up really well. It's a rarity to have something from 1987, especially out of the anime genre, that you can wholeheartedly be like, absolutely, everybody should fucking watch this. And I feel like Wicked City's that. You could skip Demon City, in my opinion. It's good in its own ways. It has its moments, but if you're gonna compare the two pieces, Wicked City all the way is such a strong film. There's a reason. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, just to stop you. We're talking about the comparison between Demon City and Wicked City, right?
Yeah.
Wicked City, they don't explain how they win.
You mean Demon City?
In Demon City, they don't explain how they win. In Wicked City, you're thinking, like, when we come back to the Blue Lightning, it wasn't you. None of y'all really did shit. That was all me. And I'm about to show you why I'm a badass bitch. That takes away, there's no fucking wooden sword that goes in. You know what I mean? It does such a well job. And I have my issues with it because there's little plot points that they could have. But other than that, I think it was a really great movie.
Yeah, I think it succeeds. I think it succeeds as what it was, as a genre piece. I think it succeeds in quality of animation. I think animation teams of today should take note. You know, you see something like this and be like, this is the level of work that we should be expecting from everyone these days. And I find a lot of modern anime, it feels too glossy. It feels too I don't know, plastic is the best way to describe it. Whereas something like this, like there's a grit to it. There's a you're sucked into this environment, and it feels. You feel it. I don't know. It's hard to qualify it with words, but there's just this. You get roped into this whole environment, and it really sits with you, and it's there. You're enveloped in it. You're not watching an anime. You're experiencing a story, and you're on the journey with them. And for me, this anime that could do that like this, are really great.
I wish that there was a studio that was willing to, like, for instance, like Kevin Smith and He-Man.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. We all love He-Man, but we understand and recognize that He-Man did not have the story it deserved.
Oh God, no! He-Man from the '80s is a hot fucking mess, and to revisit it was a brave, bold move.
But the choices that he's making during the revisiting, I wish we could have somebody who would do the same thing with some of these problem ones. Like, hell, if you want to do Demon City again, do it and make it right. Do I think you need to do Wicked City? No, Wicked City does a lot of things right. It can stand on its own. But any of the ones that we've had problems with story-wise or just the narrative that they're trying to push, I would pay money for a studio to come back and say,
I would love to see modern studios do a take on these stories, as long as the feel, the grit, and the feel of these, the feel of these isn't lost. You try and do horror anime now or anything like that. There's, again, I don't know. There's something about modern anime. Maybe it's because it's digital. I don't know. But there's this sheen to it all where everything just feels too. And I'm talking about really good horror anime. Like Another is terrifying. It's great. But even that has like this very modern kind of gloss to it.
Yeah, it's too clean.
Yeah. There's just this there's this grit to when you're doing that sort of genre, that it gets lost. And it's great. This anime stands the test of time because of the way it was made and the era it was made and the story it tells. All of those pieces got put together well.
It's a choice that they do with the characters, right?
Yeah.
At some point in time, we go from hating Mayart to saying that, you know what, he's a badass. Maybe we can allow him to be such a dick.
Yeah. Right.
To the point where he proves that he's worth the risk. You know?
Right.
I can't tell you, like, let's take Demon City. Homegirl, Lynette would run over in a second.
No, the president's daughter, yeah, she was borderline useless.
Yeah, Kellogg. If Kellogg was to meet, nothing she did made her feel like she was worth saving.
Right.
I would love for somebody to, and I don't know if it's because of the way they wrote her or that's the way they viewed damsels back then, but there could have been real strength from her.
Yeah.
If they took the time to flush it out like they did in Demon City.
There could have even been her position, a position of peace and a position of what you called it, politics, a position of negotiating, a position of caring for people. There's no weakness in caring for people. There's no weakness for caring for life. There's no weakness there. But she was so fucking stupid that it made it seem like the weak position, which is unfortunate because if they'd handled her character better, absolutely. She could have been the most powerful character in the anime. Luckily, we didn't have that with this one. We had Makie, who was awesome.
And Makie was awesome, but let's also point out that Makie, she wasn't all that too. She got raped, 4 times in that bitch?
she fell victim, absolutely. But that's the kind of, everybody fell victim, like, to the demons in this. Like, there was nobody... You know what I mean? There was nobody that was like, just, I'm gonna fuck demons. Everybody, even Mayard fell victim to the demons. Everybody fell victim to the demons in this. So it's not fair to hold her to a different standard on that. She still comes out swinging. She saves everybody's ass several times. She saved Taki a few times. She saved Mayart. She saved everybody in this film. So I say that while yes, she got raped a couple times, not so great for her. She did fight like hell, and she was a much stronger character, both principally and skill wise, than our Demon City counterpart, who could just die the death.
All the death.
All the death. Anyway, yeah, gang, we're pretty unanimous on this. Wicked City's a definite yes for all you listeners out there. If you managed to listen to this and we spoiled the whole fucking movie for you, I'm sorry, but still worth revisiting, worth checking out, worth it for everyone. So that's going to be, sure. Yeah, so that's going to be our show for today. So until next time, keep calm and, I don't know, maybe steer clear of vaginal webbing.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.